All right, welcome to today's broadcast where I'm going to be continuing this bas relief or low relief gesture study sculpture. Going to be doing that with natural beeswax, sculpting beeswax, which has been, it's a fun thing. And so, if you're interested in the drawing content that I've been trying to put out, the drawing live streams and future drawing content, I've started a new YouTube channel. It's called Drawing Drew Keith. And so if you'd like to, if you're interested in drawing, you'd like to support, then you can find that YouTube channel and subscribe to that. And I really appreciate any support that I get over there. Let's see, maybe I'll also go live on Instagram so that we have more questions and things to draw from. So let me get that set up too. And if you guys have questions or comments or anything you'd like me to go over, just let me know and I'll try to get to those. Just get set up first. Okay. I'm just going to keep pulling the forms out a little bit farther. By adding little pieces of wax. This is beeswax. Cera de abeja, sí. Is it beeswax? Yeah, it works great. Beeswax, yep. That's what it is. Some natural beeswax. This was given to me by a follower or subscriber, or maybe a student from my sculpting courses. Anyway, he sent me some, I think, from his own bees, and this is really nice to sculpt with by hand. It's a little sticky for tools, but if you're just doing it by hand like I'm doing here, then it's really nice. But I've purchased beeswax that came in pellets, and it just didn't feel as tacky. It didn't stick to itself as well, and it was just a little bit harder to work with. So I haven't found a beeswax that I can purchase online that I like as much. I only have a little bit of this, so. Okay, what a nice material. Yeah, it's a nice, nice material to sculpt with. Works great. Love from India, somebody says. That's great. From India. There's a lot of Indians that have reached out to me that are interested in sculpting, so that's great. And if you are interested, if you think you'd like to learn sculpting, then there's a free PDF, an assignment checklist that has all of the free lessons from the Figure Sculpting Fundamentals course. And you can download the PDF and then get access to all of those lessons. And it's a great resource for anybody that would like to learn more about sculpting. And you can find that in the link in my bio. If you just go to the links. Live from a Mexican in Spain. Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah, my wife was born in Mexico. Mexican-American, but moved to the States when she was young. And with the PDF, there's also a portrait sculpting one. So if you're interested in sculpting the portrait or sculpting the figure, those PDFs are a great resource. Thank you for the recommendation of your book. Oh yeah, my ebook, An Artist's X-Ray Vision. Yeah, that should be helpful if anybody's interested in just figurative stuff, drawing, painting, or sculpting the figure. Then my ebooks, there's one on the male figure, one on the female figure. You might find that useful, and you can find links for that in my bio if you're on Instagram, or in the video description on YouTube. I love you creating, but I'm not, and I don't know the English language. Yeah, that's a tricky thing, but it's kind of cool that people from all over the world are able to, participate in or be able to see somebody creating across the world. Technology is pretty incredible that allows it. Recently from this year, I also started making art content. Someday I will meet you soon. Yeah, if you're interested, I'm going to be holding some in-person sculpting workshops this year, 2025. And so if you send me a message, I'll send you information. Send me a message with Sculpture Group, and I'll send you information once I have that of those sculpture workshops so that you can come and sculpt with me in person at my home studio that I'm working on. I'm converting a barn into a studio space where I can teach. And so if you're interested, let me know, and I'd love to meet some of you guys. Hi, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, says somebody on YouTube. And again, if you're interested in the drawing content that I've been putting out through live streams on YouTube, I've made a different channel for that. So that's the Drawing Drew Keith is that channel. And that's the one where I'll put my 2D content, so whether that's drawing or painting, I'll try to put that type of content over on that channel for anybody that might be interested in that. And that's a way to just motivate myself to do more drawing, which was one of my goals this year, to do some good drawings and a great painting. Hi, I finally caught one of your live streams. I've been missing a couple. Yeah, well, welcome. It's good to have you. Just trying to stay consistent. That's what this has all been about. It says interesting. It's a pretty safe thing to say if you don't want to, if it's good or bad, you can say, oh, that's interesting. That way you don't offend anybody. On your drawing, Drew Keith, will there be drawing tips or just a channel for showing off your wonderful art? I'll probably do tips. I'll probably have it be similar to the sculpting channel that I've started, and that can help to give tips for artists. And I like videos. And I consider myself an art instructor as much as an artist, because I like teaching. So yeah, I'll probably do some tip videos and techniques and stuff like that. If you have topics you'd like me to cover, or something in drawing specifically or drawing related, just let me know. Most of it will probably be figurative, so probably I won't get like really deep into perspective or landscapes or things like that. But some figurative stuff, or if you have a figurative related topic you'd like me to cover, I'll consider that. Is it wax? Yes, this is beeswax. Nice, somebody says. Thank you. Do you sculpt in real clay too? Yeah, I sculpt in clay all the time, but this is a beeswax sculpture, just to show a different material. Thank you. Says somebody. Does it melt? Yeah, this will melt pretty easily. Just like, well, yeah, it's just beeswax, normal beeswax. If you've ever played around with beeswax, it's pretty soft at this body temperature. At room temperature, it won't melt. So it has to get probably in the hundreds. But if you left it out and it was like inside a car or something, or in the sun, then it could definitely get hot enough to melt the wax. So you have to be careful where you leave your sculptures. Make sure it's not somewhere that gets really hot. If you weren't doing art as a career, what job would you have picked? Well, I was originally in school for pre-physical therapy, so I probably would have done something like that, or maybe been a physical trainer. I like fitness, exercise, and stuff like that, so maybe I would have been a PE teacher or something like that, or a personal trainer, or physical therapist, something like that. Zane, my favorite bodybuilder, got his course back in the 80s. You couldn't find a better model. Well, Bob Paris would be a good runner-up. Yeah, I like these old school bodybuilders. I have a lot of them saved as references on Instagram, just because I'm going through. I probably wouldn't be able to name them, But I just go through and I'm like, oh, that's a cool pose. And so it's, yeah, bodybuilders, especially for learning things like anatomy, they're really, really helpful. And it's just more interesting, you know. Somebody that's really worked hard on their physique, they make a more interesting work of art than, you know, your average Joe. That discipline physically changes them. Another thing that I probably wouldn't have mind getting into is construction. I've liked working on the barn, and when I was temp or working for a temp agency, the construction jobs were some of my favorite. And you could make pretty good money if you're decent at it. So that's probably something else I might have gotten into, and something that I also feel is a very worthwhile thing. But instead of creating art, you're creating buildings, or you're fixing buildings or things like that. Let's see, somebody requested to go live on the live stream, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear very much on YouTube. Let's see. Can you hear me? Over there, Oscar? Or was it just an accident? Oh, okay. He might have done that accidentally. That's fine, totally fine. I thought somebody might have been wanting to join the live stream, but then I think it was just an accidental thing. The buttons on the screen, that's totally fine. I spent my life in construction. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard work. Construction's hard, physically demanding and dangerous, you know. I think construction is one of the jobs where there's more injuries compared to other jobs. You know, people losing fingers, or falling off buildings, falling off the roof. You know, those can be serious accidents. So yeah, construction's a hard job, but a necessary job. You know, we need buildings, we need houses, we need roads. So it's very important. I have a lot of respect for people that build. Do you watch beginner sculptors so you can get ideas on what topic you want to tackle next with your sculpting courses? I guess I don't. I follow, you know, some sculptors that I admire, and I always love seeing beginner work. And so maybe along those lines of looking at work, maybe what I'd probably do is I'd go through some of the student work from my courses, and then from that do critique videos and things like that, which maybe I should do some more of, because that's always good. So I'd say the most that I interact with beginners is the students when they post their work over at Proca.com, and that's great because then other students can learn from it, and I can give specific advice and things like that. But what I'd like to do is the in-person workshops. That's what I'm hoping to get going, so that I can teach people in person, and then that I noticed that when I was doing in-person classes, that really did help me to see what people struggle with a little bit better than the online stuff, which is less immediate and less instant. So what I'm hoping is getting those in-person classes and workshops going. Do you think Michelangelo's muscular subject looked like that, or were they stylized to fit his vision? I'm almost certain that they were stylized. He has a very distinct style, and the women that he sculpts are very masculine. It's almost like he only had male models, or that he was just more interested in the masculine physique. And so I'm pretty sure that I mean, and you can see it in his work that the figures kind of have a similar physique, a similar feel to them. And so I don't think he was going for 100% accuracy. He was going for something what I think is more interesting, which is designing something that looks good, and what I call like hyper anatomical, where he was interested in really exploring the muscles and to the extreme, exploring them to the point where he's studying cadavers and things like that. So we're really, really obsessed with understanding what's happening with the figure, and then that understanding shows through. So his figures are more muscular than probably they would have been. A style that I like to call hyperanatomical, which is really fun, where they push the anatomy to the extreme. Thanks, agreed. So somebody, yeah, I think the great artists don't just represent exactly what they see. They almost represent more than what they see, especially if they've studied. So their figures become super interesting because they have all that knowledge behind what they're observing, and they're able to pull out parts of the body that the average person wouldn't even notice, but then when it's pulled out or when it's emphasized, then the average person just is like, oh wow, like that looks almost better than reality. Do you do hyper anatomical in your art? I don't know if I'd say that I have gotten to that point, but I would like to do something similar to that with. I'd like to get into more realistic stone sculpting, and maybe hyper anatomical is the direction that I'd like to move in. But it's difficult because you really have to know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then it just looks amateur. It's better to simplify when you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't really understand the anatomy, or because if you try to exaggerate the anatomy without having the understanding, then it just like you just kind of embarrass yourself because what's happening is not accurate, and that's definitely not what I would want. Especially if I'm spending the time to do a realistic stone sculpture, which takes a lot of time to develop. So it's something I would like to move toward, but I wouldn't call my style hyper anatomical. I think it's more, I don't know, what would I, even in clay, I'd say it's more, I don't know, just normal, figurative. Sometimes it's a little bit simplified. I'm not sure if it's me, but the audio is coming across low and interrupted again. I'm not sure if that's the same for me or the rest. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. This is just my phone that is on the, or that the audio is coming through, so I can't really change anything right now, but I apologize. That's really hard to, it's really hard to watch something when the audio is bad, so if the audio is bad, I'll have to come back later and listen to this and see if there's something I can do that would change it. I don't know what I could do though, because it's just my phone. Well, what I'd like to do is figure out a way to do the live stream to stream to multiple platforms, different platforms simultaneously, which I know there's a way to do on OBS, the software that I use, but I haven't figured it out yet. Somebody says audio is fine through YouTube. Yeah, YouTube I have a whole different setup, so it's yeah, that's why I'd like to be able to stream to multiple streaming platforms. You have YouTube, and then there's I don't know if I'd do like Twitch. I think is a growing one that's popular. I don't know if, I think that's mostly for digital stuff. Like the artists that are there are mostly like 3D artists. So I don't know if there'd be a audience for this type of live stream over there, and then maybe like Rumble and some other places, but I haven't figured that out, so I'm just live streaming to YouTube. Okay, I think that's about where I'm going to call it for today. So if you're interested, I always try to recommend my sculpting courses, and there's a free PDF that you can get that has links to all of the free lessons. So if you're interested in sculpting but you don't want to invest in a full sculpting course, but you'd like to see what the free content is like, then you can find links to that in my bio if you're on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, in the link in the description. And those PDFs are for the figure sculpting course and the portrait sculpting course. A great resource for anybody that wants to learn more about sculpting. If you're interested just in the figure in general, then you might check out my ebooks, An Artist's X-Ray Vision. There was somebody that was appreciative, said that they checked out the ebook and really found value in it during this live stream. And so if you're interested and you'd like to invest in that, then there's one on the male figure, one on the female figure, and that's a great resource. It has just a bunch of diagrams to show how to approach the figure. Oh, the live stream ended on YouTube, so I don't know why that ended. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I really like sculpting with this beeswax. It smells fantastic. And oh, let's see, there's another question. Have you always been inspired to make pregnancy art, or inspired really hit you because of your children? I think, I've done sculptures of pregnant women, but I think, healthy pregnant women are very beautiful. It's like, the curves that come along with pregnancy, and especially when the mother is healthy, it's very beautiful. I also am very pro-life. That's something that I've become more and more, especially as I've become a father. And so sharing that pro-life message has been important to me as an artist and as a person. I feel like everybody understands what's growing inside of a pregnant mother. When we see that belly, we understand that it's her son or daughter. And so the fact that we live in a society where that mother could choose to end the life of her son or daughter for basically any reason, in some places, for any reason during any stage of pregnancy, like that is deeply disturbing to me, because I think life is sacred and that we're valuable. I've noticed that as an artist, every single person that I've ever sculpted was not aborted. So every person that I've ever seen or cared about or loved was not aborted. And so I think every single human being deserves a chance at life. And so I think part of that is the reason that I'd maybe want to move more into pregnant, representing pregnant women, pregnant mothers, and celebrating that beauty and sacrifice, because it is a sacrifice to be a mother. It's a physical sacrifice and mental, and so I think we need to celebrate mothers and celebrate motherhood and celebrate life more than we do in society. And so so that's been something that sometimes there's just issues that you find that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, and that's been one for me. So that's kind of my thoughts on that, and if I was to do more pregnancy related work, I would have that in the back of my mind of showing the beauty of it and the sacrifice and importance of protecting those little sons and daughters in the womb. So all right, I'll keep going with these live streams. If you're interested in the drawing parts of the art making process, then Drawing Drew Keith YouTube channel is a great place to catch those live streams and those videos. I just uploaded a new video that walked through my sketchbook so far this year. And so I showed you guys all the sketches I've done during those live streams. And so you might like that video. All right, stay creative, stay productive, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in another video.